Let me give you 3 traits in general of unstable folk. And keep in mind that they're here this morning. So you may want to just look straight ahead. You don't want nobody accusing you of looking at them funny as if he talking about me. Well, what you saying? So just look straight ahead, because there are a whole lot of them in here. They in the front of the church. They in the back of the church. Number 1, unstable folk consistently have destructive mood swings. They do things to hurt themselves. They do things to hurt people that try to love them. God, I'm talking right up in here this morning. That's the reason when you trying to love an unstable person, sometimes they will reward you evil for the good that you do toward them. And it's not, and they'll have you up at night wondering, did you do something wrong? Wondering, did you say something wrong? Wondering what? But it ain't nothing you said to them. It ain't nothing you did to them. They just simply unstable. And they're in one of their mood swings again. It ain't you. She just in the hole again. It ain't nothing you said. She just revisiting the hole. Yeah, it's tight. Number 2, they are excessively insecure. See, an unstable person always got to have somebody building them up. They ain't got time to build up nobody else. They always needing for you to build them up. They always needing a pat on the back. Way to go, girl. You awesome boy. You are and if you don't give them that, you don't love them. There are wives in here that if their husband don't give them their way, then you don't love me like you used to, baby. You used to do this, and do that. No, it ain't that. It ain't that. So it's just that you don't want to grow up. You don't want to realize you're not his daughter. You his wife. You supposed to be his helpmeet. A helpmate. I could easily flip that thing, brother. There's something wrong when a woman got to always be encouraging a man. Something wrong when a woman got to treat a man like she his little boy. No. Something wrong with that. You too unstable. They're excessively insecure. These type of people are weak-minded. If you correct them, you don't love them. If you tell them they're wrong, you ain't for them. You ain't on their side. But I'm simply trying to tell you something, that if you do it, if you make a change, your life will be better. But you so insecure, you so weak-minded that you see correction as something that's trying to hurt you and not help you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't tell you you were wrong. But because I love you, I tell you that you're wrong. And if you say, then God will tell you when you are wrong. Because he chastened those that he loved. And he said, if you be without chastisement, then are you bastards and you're not son. If you don't like being chastised, you illegitimate. But you can't hardly correct an insecure person, because they weak-minded. Number 3, unstable folks are unreliable. You can't count on them because they are easily distracted. See, an unstable person is unreliable. You can't count on an unstable person. You can't depend on an unstable person to do what it was they told you they would do. You can give an unstable person the money to pay the bill, But it don't mean the bill gonna get. You can tell an unstable person that they on your phone plan and they got so many minutes. You're not unlimited, but an unstable person is going to run up the bill knowing they don't have the money to pay the bill, but don't want you to take the phone. What's wrong with you? You unstable. Unreliable. Can't depend on them. See, when you're dealing with an unstable person, it's to the point that where when they talk to you, you have to really be discerning the lie from the truth. Don't forget now, I'm talking about church folk. That they saying something to you, but you don't know what's truth and what's a lie. Pastor, church folk don't lie. They ain't supposed to lie. Some of the biggest lies I know attend church. It's quiet up in here. I said some of the biggest lies I know. Y'all must don't deal with unstable folk. If an unstable person tell you it's raining outside, you don't grab the umbrella. You better look for yourself. Ain't a cloud in that sky. That joker crazy, bipolar, and stupid. But I ain't going to tell him because I ain't got time to argue with him. Just look at your neighbor and say, this shouldn't be amongst God's people. Look back at one more person, just tell me this should not be in the midst of God's people. Unstable people are underachievers. They never get everything that God had for them. They're underachievers. God has something great, but they'll never get it because they're unstable. He had a plan to really use them, but he can't use them the way he desires to use them because they're unstable. See, y'all too quiet. Y'all too quiet. It's sad, but you got a whole lot of folk that need to be up working in the church. They need to be busy for God. They need to be business-minded people. They got some gift. They got some talent. They got a call. Yeah, but the only reason you can't use them, the only reason you can't put them up is because they so unstable that they live one way at church. They live another way outside the church. So you better be careful and know who you're dealing with. Just because they shout like us don't mean they're of us. Just because they speak in a tongue that sound like us don't mean they of us. Just because they can talk the talk don't mean they of us. They quote scripture, but they're not of us. Woo! They underachievers. Never really ever accomplish anything in life. Watch this, but had great potential, but was too unstable to reach the goal. See, some of you, because you're underachievers, you make $9 an hour on a job that you could be making $25 an hour doing something different. You could move up. But the only reason they can't promote you, the reason they can't move you up is because you unstable. You're underachiever. It is tight up in here. But listen to me. If you hear this morning, there's good news. God is the answer. God is the cure for you ending your life from being unstable. God is the answer this morning. If you're here and you know I'm talking to you, but you're saying within yourself, Pastor, you right, but I'm tired of being an unstable person. What do I need to do? I know there are things God has for me. I want to obtain it. I want to reach the goal. Pastor, what do I need to do? You need to know this morning that God is your answer. You need to know know this morning that God is your solution, but with God being the solution, you still gonna have to make some changes. You still gonna have to be the type person that you're not afraid to change. You're not afraid to confront yourself. Stop talking about what people doing to you. You're damaging yourself. It's time for you to change. You got your own life jacked up. You messed up your own life. You messed up the marriage. You messed up the money. You need to change. The solution is not getting a different church. The solution is not finding another pastor. The solution is not finding another spouse. The solution is you changing. Biblically speaking, when you deal with an unstable person, you're dealing with a double-minded person. Notice the book of James this morning. Notice the book of James. When you're dealing with an unstable person from a biblical standpoint, you're dealing with someone who's double-minded. Notice James in the 1st chapter and the 6th verse. The Bible said, but let him ask in faith with, watch the wording carefully, no doubting. Because when a child of God doubts God, is sin. James 1 and 6. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea. Remember I told you, up and down, back and forth. You remember that? Tossed by the what? The wind. Sometimes the wind is figurative of trouble. See, an unstable person will always be tossed by trouble. Number 7, for let not that man, this is what I want you to see, an unstable person. Notice what's at hand for an unstable person. For let not that man or woman suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his what? Did you see that? See, a double-minded person is not going to get anything from God. You know what that tells me? That God is not pleased with me or you when we're double-minded. Did you see it? So that means if I'm unstable, God is not going to do anything for me. God is not obligated to move for me if I'm double-minded. He desired to heal me. But if I don't believe that he is the healer, despite what the doctor said, guess what? The healing won't manifest. Why? I'm double-minded. He wants to bless you financially. He wants to cancel some debt for you. But if you don't believe that your giving will change your living, God cannot move for you. Why? You are double-minded. If God say he gonna bless you and you tell God you can't be blessed because of the color of your skin, like it or not, you double-minded. God ain't based no blessing on the color of nobody's skin. God didn't base the blessing on what side of the railroad track you grew up on. God based the blessing upon the word. If you follow the word, guess what? You get the blessing. But check this out, but if I'm double-minded, I'm gonna have a desire, but it ain't gonna ever be fulfilled. You know that's happening in the church, folks. They desire a whole lot of things, but you see things going unfulfilled. You see them being unfruitful. Here's the answer. They double-minded. And when you're double-minded, again, you're not going to get the blessing. You ain't going to get what God has for you. Pastor, what do I have to do? You have to believe God. You have to trust God. I don't care how things look. Did y'all hear me? I said you need to stand on what God told you. I don't care how bad the circumstances are. You need to trust and believe that there is nothing too hard for God. I love what Jeremiah said in Jeremiah 32 and 17. He said, oh Lord God, is there anything too hard for you? See, whenever somebody tell you that God ain't going to do for you what he said, you need to pull out Jeremiah 32 and you need to get the fire in that scripture. You need to let them know there ain't nothing too hard for my God.